Okay. Um, Good morning once again. So in our previous class, we wrote some tests. We wrote some unit tests and some E2E tests. We also learned about mocking and using mocks in tests and all of that. So in today's class, we'll be learning how to deploy to Fly IO. But first of all, our aims and objectives for today is to reconfigure our Casey nodes, the one we built with Node, and then introduce Fly IO and then deploy our app. So today we introduce Fly IO and then try to understand what Fly IO is all about. Try to understand Fly machines, Fly volumes, and all of that. So before we continue, let's just reconfigure our app. But before that, let's take a look at TSX. We integrated, what's this? What's happening? Okay, so TSX is not opening. Okay, let's see if we can get over this with our VPN. Um, let's navigate to integration, and under integration we have TypeScript, and you can see development, workflow, installation, and all of that. This is for TypeScript. And we have compilation. So compiling your TypeScript files to JavaScript is not handled by TSX, but it's a necessary step in most setups. And in our case, it's quite a necessary step, and that's why we need PKG row. So this PKG row is actually built with PKG is the recommended bundler for projects using TSX. It's developed by the same author and used to compile TSX. So the same author that wrote TSX is the same person that wrote PKG row. So PKG row uses it actually uses ESBuild under the hood, and it also uses rollup. So ESBuild for some things to make it faster and roll up for some things. You know, ESBuild doesn't support like bundling out of the box. What I'm trying to say is, for instance, let's come over to our app in our ESBuild config that I want to remove this bundle true. Okay, so let me say npm run. Okay, now we have 60.7 kilobytes. That is way too big. Now, if we open our build directory here, if you open our index.js, you will see, okay, in order to be clear about this, let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, and be like this. It's okay. So if I come over here and then let me say I uncomment minify. I don't want to minify it. I just want to let me just build it like that. Then we have 140.8 kilobytes. That is way too big. And here we see that we are importing. Where are all these things? Where are all of these things? Bundle, okay. ESBuild, and even though we are specifying the format to be ESM, what is here is CJS. So there are some packages in here that are making this to build our app in CJS mode. And that is not what we want. And it is including if, let's for instance, let's observe our index TS file first. Look at what we have in our index TS file. So let's go over to our ESBuild config TS and then change this bundle to, in fact, let's just uncomment it instead of changing it to false. That is, by default, the bundle is set to false. So let's build this npm build. Okay, now cannot use external without bundle. Okay, external. Let's uncomment this one also. Okay, we have 946 bytes. Now, if you open our index.js, now because we are not bundling it, as we can see, it's only our index.js that is being built, and that is not what we want. So for us to build our app and include other files, we have to write a simple script, and we don't want to go overwriting that. That is beyond, that is way beyond the scope of this class. We don't want to go writing the script to do that because we have some explanation to do. So what we want to do is we use pkg to bundle our app. It uses ESBuild and rollup under the hood, and then that is the preferred way to build our app since we are using TSX. So let's come over here. We have we can use pkg using the command line, or you can include it in the bundle. Then we have the basic setup. So all you need to do is open. First of all, we install pkg. Let's open up. Let's go to the pkg GitHub repo. We come over here. We install it as a development dependency. So npm install pkg. So it's taking time. Okay, so we are done installing pkg. So what we do is we do away with this ESBuild TS. And then we'll come to our package.json. And then in here, we'll do away with build should be tsx. It shouldn't be tsx. It should be npx pkg. And then if you run this command, you get an error. npm run build. Okay, so ignoring entry outside of this directory package would no export entries found in package.json. So what it's trying to say is, if you come over to this compilation docs here, you have the basic setup. So given your source files are in the source directory, it automatically infers to how to build your package based on the entry points defined in package.json by outputting them to the distributable directory. So what we do is we'll just come over here, copy this export, come over here, and then paste it here. Then add the command to do with the error. Now we don't want to build it in NJS, but just JS. So now if you say, okay, npm run build. So now we have some ignoring entry outside of the recommendation. FS extra is in dependencies. Okay, this is a builder, so we don't even need the types because we're building it for database. Database is imported from external module Isola, but never used in a source database. Incoming message is imported from external. Okay, so it's emitting errors because of some, we have our distributable file. Now, if you open your distributable file, you have a single file, and everything is bundled automatically. Everything is in a single file with just pkg. Now we delete our build file. We don't need this. We don't need this. So if you come over here, your app is bundled. As you can see, in just a single file. We don't need to specify anything. We don't need to write an external script. It is taken care of automatically for us. Now, if you come over to package.json and you say, okay, dash minify, and you say, okay, dash no, let's say minify first, and then we run npm run build. Couldn't match source file export. Where am I giving the, okay, not here. I'm supposed to add this to the build pkg dash dash minify. So we are instructing pkg to minify our our build this thing. So if you open up the distributive file, you open your index.js, you can see that everything is minified now. As you can see, this is actually sweet. So you have a minimum file to you can just take this and then deploy it anywhere and your application will work. Just imagine that those code you've been writing for about some hours, this is just it. It has been minified and you just have how many lines? Just a few lines. That's great. And you can see other options as well. pkg is sweet. This is the basic setup. Then you can come over to the dual package. Then you, instead of this, you can just copy this one like this. If you want to export the types, because if you are building a package where other developers will use, it's required to do this. So the types will be included for type safety when they install and then use your package. So we'll just copy this one, come over to our package JSON file, then do away with this export. Just paste this here and then add a comma because it's a package, it's a JSON file. And then you say types, we're specifying also the types, and then we're specifying the types here, NTS and then NJS. So now we will build this, we'll build the one we can deploy, we build the CJS file and then the NJS. So the CJS is the common JS, and then the NJS is the same as the JS, but then some platforms support the extension of NJS. So we can just do away with this and then run npm run build. This time around, you see two files. So now we have, oops. Okay, there's an error here saying database is imported from external. Mozilla does not support top level await. Use the ES or system output format. Okay, top level await. Okay, so the error is actually coming here because we are using this await, not we are not using it in a function. Okay, so we can just, okay, let's copy this one and then bring it here just for, and then we can make this one an async function so as to deal with the error. So let's run this one more time, npm run build. Let's see if our error, okay, we don't have that error anymore. And this time around, let's delete our index.js file because we don't need it. It was there before we built this. So let's build it again and see. Minify. And then let's just remove this minify and then see the where things are. Where is the minify? Okay, remove this in the pkg row. And then run npm run build. Okay, so now if you open our NJS file, we can see that this is the ESM format and it is built, everything is in a single file. That is great. No comments, no spaces, just a little bit of spaces. And this here is what it's trying to say, this is indicating that this is a pure function. This one also is a pure function. What is taken is what it will return. It will take in arguments and then return the result. No changes. This one also is a pure function. So this pure comment here, trying to tell you that there is a pure function, all of that. So if you open here, we don't have any types because the types are in the dev dependencies, and that is the reason why we're getting this warning. So if you are building a package where other developers will remove the types of the dependencies and the types will be included here. So that if they install our apps, they can just come over, look at this bytest. So if they're using it in a JavaScript environment, they will just reference the types here like this. And then the types will be inferred, something like that. In the package configured, the package config TS file or something like that, the package, the types to be inferred. But right now we have, let's open up our CJS and then you can see that this format is in the common JS, is the common JS format, not ESM. As you can see, this is sweet, the common JS format. Okay, that is great. Now let's move over. There are other options. If you don't want to minify, you can also minify and all of that. pkg build, okay, share scripts. You can use pkg to do other things. And no, this is the TSS. Let's move over to pkg. And then we have module, the types, module export, the being, you can check over the extensions. We have CJS, MJS, and JS. So they determined by package JSON type. So if we, okay, now let's go over to our package JSON. And then let's undo this. Okay, like this. Okay, let's leave it as JS, but then we want to make it, here the type is set as module. Now, if you run build, let's delete our distributable folder. And let's run npm run build. Now, if you open our distributable folder, we'll see that this is an ESM format. Okay, let's come over to package.json once more and then change this thing to, instead of module, to common.js, and then build this once more and see. PK0 is doing wonders. Okay, open the index.js, and then now it is not longer ESM, but CJS. This is sweet. Just change some things and you're good to go with PK0. Using ESM under the hood and making things faster. That's great. Okay, so you can come over here, see how you can, the imports, you can, the utils, you can set up your path aliases and all of that to get errors and every other thing. TS config, you can even reference the config file part, and then you can see the target to node, the node you want to use. Okay, we can come over here and then add this to our package.json file. And then we have, after setting the build, you can see, okay, dash minify, and then you see dash node is equal to node version 20. That is a target is equal to node version 20. The things we set in the case build. And then we can say, okay, since the node name is equal to production, we minify watch, pkg watch, and then clean dist. So clean dist here is this. Okay, let's come over here and then we'll add also our clean dist. No, let's remove the pk0. So the clean dist here means every time you run, okay, let's come over here and create a new file of some.js. Let's assume we have a file, what was happening earlier, that we're changing things in the package.json file, and we're having other files not clean up. So let's run this once more, npm run build. So it will clean the distributable folder and then create another one and then run, build our application, minify things, and then all of that. Okay, so if we come our package.json, target node version 20, and then it will clean our distributable folder and then create another one. We have source map. Okay, we can add our source map here. The source map, we have the watch, we have the minify, run the bundle in watch mode during development. And then we have pk0, we can set the environment to production because while we're building our app, we're building it to production so that other things will be done correctly. And then we have dash source map. Is it like this? Let's check it and see. Source map, okay, it's like that. Great. So let's save this one. Now, if you run this one, you should have your own source map, and then the environment should be set to production. Okay, we have our index.js source map. This is index.js source map. So this is the source map for our build file. And if you open here, it's CJS, and then it is minified. If you can see, we are having a require here, which is CJS. So let's change our package.json. CJS is old fashioned. I don't want to deal with old fashioned. Let's change this to module. And then run npm run build. Okay, so if you come over to where it is, here we have our source map, and then we have index here. Now there's no more require. What you have is import, and this is ESM. It's actually sweet. Everything is minified. Great. So in our packages, we can come over to the test, the start, this, and then you can see this is dist. You can change the build to dist index.js, and then we'll come over and npm run start. Error applying migrations. No such table. Okay. No such table. SQLite DB. Let's do this once more. Start. Okay. The reason why is because of let's open our index.js. Let's bring this out here. Then remove the async since it's not necessary. npm run build, and then npm run npm start. We still have that error. So go to our source. Where is it? Is it model? It should be database index.ts. And then this applied migrations. In fact, let's come over to index.ts here. Is it index.ts? Okay, let's just do away with the file here and see what you got. Okay, so now if you open here, our SQLite DB is empty. Then our server is running. But we have our SQLite DB in our dist folder. Okay, so now if you try to write something to our SQLite DB, I'll try to, let's see, we even have index.ts. There's a way we can do this and then just apply migrations. Okay, let's create another file in here, new file, and let's see migrate.ts. So we say import db from the database, and then you say okay. Let's see function migrate, and then you say await db.apply export. Where is the function? Exports. Okay, you just import it directly. You say import migrations, and then say await apply migrations like this. Then we can even see, okay, let's just call the function here. GitHub Copilot is active, so it's completing things for us. So we can come over to our package.json file and set our migrates. We have do dev start. Then we have test, which is write test, UI test coverage. But before the test, we should add migrate here to TSX migrate TS. Okay, let's see. npm run migrates. So we're getting an error here saying cannot find module. You know what? Index.ts. There's another way. Let's go about this another way. Let's just remove navigation applied. Like this. And then let's come over back to our index.ts. Do this. On npm run dev. Okay, so now the migrations are applying automatically. Let's go over wasting time solving that problem. So npm build. Okay, so now if you open our dist directory, we have this, and then we have npm run start. So we have our SQLite database, and if you open it, it is encrypted. That means there's data in it. So our migrations have applied. So we've solved that problem. Okay, great. Now what next? Our app is ready to be deployed. So in software engineering, there is what we call software development lifecycle. So what is happening here is this is the executable. This one is called the source code, but this one here is not the source code. The source code is the one you write, but then while writing it, there are some things that if you take it like that and then deploy it, we explained that earlier, the importing other files and trying to resolve parts that will cause network issues. and then it will cause your app to be slower, and then the comments, the spaces, and all of that. So that's the reason why we're minifying it and then making it in a single file so that everything will be more faster. So, and the reason why this is encourageable is because when you deploy your app where you are being charged for everything, like the CPU and everything, if the tasks are resource intensive, like if the tasks are taking time, taking CPU and taking and consuming every other thing, consuming resources, you will get charged a huge amount of money. So that's the reason why all these are taken into considerations. And even the algorithms you write, you don't need to write O of n square algorithms because those will consume memory. They will consume resources and you get charged a lot of money. Great. So that's the reason why data structures and algorithms are very, very, very important. Sweet. Okay. So thank God for TXS and PKG role. Life is easier. So app configuration, PKG role. So it's sweet that we started from ES build and then we use NodeMon, though it gives us some issues, but then this is sweet. So I've been noticing that some of us have issues with okay, I cloned this repo, it's showing this error, blah blah blah. Okay. We solve those errors today. We build our containers, and then you can take that container, that image, and then deploy it anywhere, deploy your containers anywhere, and then you run the same way they're running on your machine. They will the same way they're running on my own machine. That is sweet. So moving on, intro to Fly. I love Fly. What is Fly IO? Okay, so I don't want to talk too much. Let us come over and see Fly IO. Okay, and then what do we have here? We have the scalable full stack without the I've never seen this word before. Forgive me, not too much better. Okay, so what is this? I'm looking for the meaning. Some call it stress hormone because it's the release during any form of stress. Okay, I grab without without going through stress. Okay, I understand what they mean now. Great, we learn every day. I will just learn something new. For me, I don't know because you are what do they call it? Okay, that's over 3 million apps have launched on Fly.io, boosted by global anycast load balancing, zero configuration, private network, hardware isolation, and blah blah blah. Public, they have some features here. Public cloud infrastructure, modern platforms, and endorphins. Right. Stressing us with grammar here. Get right in your users' faces, ship GPU boosted modules, built for distributed systems, and all of that. Okay. So by looking at this, some of us don't even know what all of these are. Okay, what this means is with Fly, you can take your Docker image and then deploy it, your Docker containers, deploy it on Fly, and then scale it anyhow you want. And the sweetest part of Fly is because it uses SQLite databases in production. And then you can replicate these databases and then share data. You can actually replicate these databases then into other instances. It can have a primary instance and all of that. So what makes Fly actually, because speaking too much grammar, we don't make us understand Fly. So what makes Fly interesting? Okay, what even makes Fly possible? So what makes Fly possible is, let's say, Fly machines. Fly machines. Let's go here. Okay, now we have the docs. If you look, we have machines API, machines and Fly CTL, guides and examples, references, and all of that. So here we have Fly machines, are fast launching VMs, virtual machines. They can be started and stopped at sub-second speed, that's milliseconds. So we give you control of your machine counts, and each machine's lifecycle, resources, and region placement with a simple REST API of Fly CTL commands. So we have introduction to Fly machines. Learn whether you need low-level machine control. Find out more about the lifecycle of the Fly machines and about scaling and placement. You know, apps like Vessel and the rest, if you want to deploy, you just simply, basically, that's essentially, if you want to deploy, you just push your app. So while pushing your app, the thing will just, there will be a build command, it will just build your app and then deploy for you. But in some cases, you may get an error because that machine there is different from your own machine. What works on your machine may not work on that machine. So that is where Docker comes in. We already know what Docker does now. So introduction to fly machines. We need to understand fly machines first. Okay, so the concepts, let's look at the concepts. You can create and destroy machines directly. Okay, do you know what a virtual machine is? Virtual machines. Let's learn together. Let's say virtual machine. What is a virtual machine? Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, a virtual machine, VM, in short, is a compute resource that uses software instead of a physical computer to run programs and deploy apps. We discussed this earlier before we started Docker. So one or more virtual guest machines run on a physical host machine. Each virtual machine runs on its own operating system and functions separately from the other VMs. So even when they are all running on the same host, this means that, for example, the virtual Mac OS virtual machine can run on a physical PC. So virtual machine technology is used for many use cases and all of that. So a virtual machine, let's assume this machine I'm using is a physical machine, but I can decide to run another machine on this machine. So that machine will basically be isolated from the operating system. So I will run everything I run from that machine. It's actually a virtual machine. This is the host machine and it's the physical one. But everything I run in that virtual machine, this host machine will not have access to that, except I expose some endpoints or some parts where this host machine can get access to my virtual machine. Okay, so a virtual machine is actually a machine, but it's not physical. In a layman understanding, let's just say you cannot see it, but it is actually a machine. Okay, so okay, Bayode and Toby. It's actually sweet. It's sweet. You know, fly is sweet. Okay, so moving on, we've introduced machines. So machines here, you create your own machine. So when you create your own machine, you try to deploy your app on that machine. So that machine is running on Fly.io platform. They are the ones that own that machine. So what you need to do is they have plenty of machines. You can actually create your machine from scratch. So this is a complex thing. Just imagine that you want to create a virtual machine on your PC. Look at the processes you go through. But their own, the way they configure it is like their NVMe. Let's take a look at NVMe. So non-volatile memory express is a new storage access and transport protocol for flash and next generation solid state drives. I believe you know the difference between hard disk drive and a solid state drive that delivers the highest throughput and fastest response time yet for all types of enterprise workloads. Can you hear that? So these are the type of virtual machines that Fly uses. So when you create a machine, but before we go into creating machines, we first of all need to, let's look at flyctl. Okay. Install flyctl. Okay, it's actually flyctl. If I'm on a Mac, this is simple. I will just copy this command and say brew install flyctl, and then this was how I installed it when I started out using Fly, and it's been a while ago. If you can run this or you can run this thing on Mac, it will still install Fly for you. If you're on Windows, you just say pwsh-command this, and then you can just visit Fly. Their documentation is very, very straightforward. And then you have this installed on your system. Okay, so doing that flyctl command line interface, you can basically say, if you want to sign up, look at I love Fly. Fly is sweet. Now, using your Fly account, you can sign up using Fly Auth sign up. Fly login, you can use Fly Auth login, or you can create an app using Fly Launch, deploy an app using Fly Deploy, and then manage app using Fly Apps. All your secrets, Fly secrets. Oh, Fly something, Fly that, Fly this, Fly everywhere. So viewing and monitoring an app is show app logs, Fly logs. Show app deployment status, Fly status. Show app releases, Fly releases. Oh, sweet. Now we have some machine API, the launch API. We have certificates API. You know, if you want to set like a custom domain name on Vessel or other platforms, you have to go to the platform and do that. Here, you don't have to do that. You just come to your command line and then give a command with your, what's this? Fly, don't mess with me. Okay, and all of that. So the API is here for you. Run a console. You can even come to your app, console, app. All the logs of that app will be logged on your console and every other thing. Open web dashboard, deploy an app, Fly IO docs, and then even the docs. You can just, oh my God, this is sweet. Now, if you can come over here, let's say we say, okay, Fly docs, and then it will prompt us, hey, 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 wow, wow, wow. I've never tried this, but this is sweet. Fly docs, and you are here. Wow, how great this is. Can you see this? I love Fly. So, moving on. First of all, if you want to start working with Fly, we've learned how to install Fly CTL. So giving command, you can basically say Fly CTL, or you can just say Fly. But Fly CTL, I don't like using Fly CTL. You just say Fly. Okay. Coming over, I'm already logged in. You can see Fly. Oh, let me just, I don't think this is big enough. What is this? Clear enough. Clear now. Clear. You can just Fly status. Okay, the config for your app is missing an app name. Okay, so add an app field to the Fly tomorrow. Okay, that is the status of the app. So if I want to sign in, or if I want to install Fly CTL, okay, I already have Fly CTL installed. Fly CTL installed. So what I want to do is Fly dash B. Let me do Fly dash B. Okay, so here we have the Fly CTL commands. It's actually the version I'm concerned about. Fly. Is it Fly version? It should be like this. Great. So we have Fly. I'm using the Fly version 0.2.31. Darwin's like MD64. The commits build data. Okay, so this is the Fly version I'm using. Okay, so now let's assume you want to create an account on Fly. So all you are going to do is Fly out sign up. And you hit enter, you relax, sip your coffee, and you chill. So now Fly has opened this for you. Okay, bro, you want to sign up? You want to continue with GitHub, or you want to sign up with Google? If not, enter your preferred name, your email, your password, and then create your account and then get it going. But there's one disadvantage. It's not a disadvantage, but Fly, I received a newsletter from Fly. The reason why you must have a card. You know, we are Nigerians, so not all banks allow international transactions or whatsoever. But you must have a card that pay in dollar. Let me make it like that so you understand. But if you're having difficulties, you don't have any that card, you can hop over to Try and find a solution to your problem. So the easiest, fastest, and safest way to international payment. So I have an account with Try, but I don't think I want to log in. So I can just log in with Google to my Try account. Look at the money I have here, 200 Naira. Okay, I've made some payments with Try, as you can see. So I've been using this Try for a couple of months now. So you have your Naira wallet, your dollar wallet, You have your dollar cards. So once you log, you can create a virtual card, a virtual dollar card. So here is mine. I can view the details. If you can go and use it to make payment. There's no bank inside. So I have my own dollar card here. I'm even owing -$3. How is this even possible? Bash. Wow. Okay, so you can create your virtual card, fund it, and then get it moving. Okay, so no, don't use my card. I'm already owing. That would be a problem. I don't know how I'm owing $3. I will know. That is serious. Okay, so now Fly is waiting for us to authenticate. So now that we're not authenticated, it's still waiting for session. Can we just cancel it? So I'm already logged in, but you can see Fly auth login. And then, okay, position connection reset by peer. Is it Fly auth login, or let's check the box? Authentication, auth, login and authenticate. Okay, we have Fly, okay. Fly auth login. Great. Okay. So sign into your account. So basically, I can just click on GitHub. I don't need to go to the platform. So all of this you can do with the dashboard and all of that. But I'm just taking advantage of the CLI. So here is my dashboard. And I still have $9 here. And I have, okay. Basically, I can add you. If you want to use my account, I can add you on a project as a contributor. So you can learn with Fly. But then after we create our project, I will do that. Okay, so we have app builders, we have machines, we have team, we have billing, activity usage metrics, light FS. So there is the light file system. I will talk about that later. Upstart Redis, we have Tigris object storage, we have offboarding in case um you've sacked someone from your organization, or you decide to let someone go. You will just offboard them, remove their secret and all of that, so they don't have access to your app, but that will not cause any damage in the future. Okay, so now let's head over to Fly docs, and then we have Fly machines. So why is this Fly building? So we have Fly clone, Fly create, Fly destroy, Fly exec, Fly list, restart, run, start, stop, suspend, Fly. Great. So, but in our case, we are hosting our application on Fly using Docker to manage apps. This manage apps. But let me see something. Fly apps. They should be deploy an app. Fly deploy. Fly deploy. Okay. Now there's a way to Fly Docker. Okay, deploy with Docker file. So we want to deploy with a Docker file. So Fly Launch can deploy your app from a Docker file. So the Fly Launch command takes your Docker file, builds it, and then deploys your app. You need some extra config, no sweat. We've got you covered. That's great. So if you run Fly Launch, everything will come up here, and then we have your env, everything. A Fly toml file will be created for you. So I'm just explaining all of this so that by the time we start doing all of this, we'll have Fly deploy. Okay, but first of all, we have our application here, and we don't have a Docker file. And remember, this will be a very standard Docker file because we are deploying this app in production. So we basically need a production grade Docker file. So we will make it, I will try to explain it. This class, we are not even going to distributing Fly apps into different regions. We're focusing on deploying apps to Fly with Docker, with a Docker file. So we understand the basics of Docker. So right now, Right now okay, Bayode, before I continue, talking about microservices architecture app, mm, I don't think you like to go into that, because okay, let me just leave it that way, because microservices is not when you start learning Kubernetes, that is where you understand that sometimes it's better not to be a developer. It's better to eat food and relax and watch people do that instead of becoming a developer. Okay, so right now, let's create a Docker file. And so this Docker file, the base, we need a base. We explain all of this, so I don't need to go back explaining everything from scratch. So all we need to do right now is create a Docker file in the root Docker file like this. So all our configurations will go in here. So we need a base. So we added some comments. See base node image. So we see base. Okay, why am I saying not base? From, and then we say, okay, this is node. We're using node version 20 of the bookworm slim. Version 20 of bookworm. Is it bookworm slim? No, not bookworm alpine. It's a bookworm slim. And then it is acting as the base. So we're using it as the base. So this is the name. If in case we want to reuse this, we'll reference this name base. Okay, so right now, this is what we need. We don't need any other thing. Then we move on to the next step. So the next step is from base. This is the next layer. Say from base as what? As should be in caps, as dependencies. So now we want to install dependencies. So we want to use the base image to install our dependencies. So how do we go about this? So we go into the app directory. So we say install dependencies. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. And then we'll go into the work directory should be in the app. Okay. So what this is doing is it will create the app directory in the Docker container and then change directory to that app. So right now, when we get here, we are now in the app directory. We already explained this. So now we copy our, you see, add okay, package JSON. Okay, GitHub Copilot, thank you. So copy our package JSON and package log JSON into our app directory. So that is what we are saying. So copy this and this in our project and then take it into the Docker container in the app directory. So we are now in the app directory. So now we have our packages in our package login. So all the packages we need to install are being referenced in these files. So when we copy that, this is what we have in our package JSON, in our package log JSON. All this gibberish will be in there. So now, once we run npm install, all of this will be installed. So we don't need to stress ourselves. So now that we are here, what do we need? Okay, now we install, we say run npm install, and then we say dash dash. We want to include development dependencies. We want to install all because we also build our application here. So we want to, even if you don't include this, everything will be installed. But this is to be, we just want to be, how do they call it again? In fact, we just want to be explicit and careful. We just want to install everything explicitly. We don't want to leave the npm install to do the work for us. Okay. So now that we've installed everything, now that we've installed everything, including the development dependencies, so it's time to go to another layer. So okay, from dependencies, okay. Now we're not using this first layer again. We're using this one from base. This is from base as depths. So from base, we are inheriting from this one, then we are from base as depths. So now from depths, from here, inside of this layer, we've installed everything. So inside of this layer, we want to continue from this layer, but there are things we need from this layer. So instead of depths, instead of dependencies, look at as depths. This is the name. So we're referencing this. This is the layer. So instead of from dependencies as production, so that let's make it as production depths. So now we want to install the production dependency and build our app. We want to make things more simple. So what do we want to do? We don't want to install. We've already installed everything in our dependencies. So all our dependencies are being installed. So what we want to do now is to copy from these dependencies some things that we need. So we say copy. You'll see that's from stage. This is the first stage. The first stage is the base. This from the base stage, and then from the base stage we go to the next stage, which is the installing the dependency stage. So this one here is the third stage. So the build stage or image name to use as a source also may be a numeric index. Set the build stage to use as a source location of this copy instruction instead of the build context. Okay, thank you, GitHub Copilot. But then the stage here should be, where do we want to copy from? We want to copy from this stage, which is the depths stage. So see depths. So now that we've built this, we have this, but then in our Docker ignore, we don't have a Docker ignore file. This in our, you see, .docker ignore. Then let's come back to our git ignore, then copy everything that is here, bring it to our Docker ignore, like this. So as you can see, we're ignoring the env, we're ignoring the build. Okay, let's change it to dist. Because we are no longer having the build. And then we have the node modules. So we're ignoring the node modules. So when we copied this we copied only the package.json and the package.json, so that after installing this, we now have the node modules. So that is the reason why we're copying the node modules from here, this stage, to this stage. So we can basically say, okay, copy node modules from app, this thing to the, I can say /app. That is a different stage. So from that stage, you have an app directory that has a node modules. So we want to copy it from there and then bring it to this stage, which also has an app directory that we want to copy the node modules into this app directory. So now we've copied it. So after copying it, what do we need to do? We need to add every other thing. So the name of the destination file or folder, then copy new files directly or remote join to the image file system. Okay, so now we are copying everything, every other thing to this image file system. That we are copying everything from our app here to Docker. Great. So now that we've copied everything to Docker, we'll say npm run, what is this? Say run npm run build. And the reason why all these commands run is because we have node inside of this Docker environment. So the node is recognized and everything will work as expected. So remember that we have this build command in our package.json that we use pkg to build our app. So in our Docker file, we say npm run build. So now that we built our application, there are some things we need to do as well. So now we go from the first stage, which is the base. From base, what do we need? We need something from base. So from base, we say, okay, we will set our environmental variable, say env, and say port is equal to 8080, like this. Let's check our packages in our app. What is our port? Let's check the env. We have port of 88. That's great. So in our Docker file, we have env port 8080. This is the environmental. Now we have a port in our env file that we are referencing. So any env variable that we set here with the name this port is the one that our application will access. So we have a port in our env file of 8080. So we are setting it in Docker. Docker, okay, we have an env file that will have all these things. But since we are now using Docker, this is the environmental variables. And then you come over here and then you say, okay, env you see, the node env to production, because now you are building your app to production. So we are sending the node, setting the node environment to production. So after setting these environmental variables, before our application will start, it needs all of this. That's the reason why we are setting it. After building our application, we are setting all of those. So coming down here, we change our working directory into the app. Okay, so now we are in the app working directory. So if you come over to the app working directory, what do we need to do? Okay, now that from the base, from this first stage, we've set the env and the node env. What we want to do now is we'll come over to the app directory and then we'll copy. What do we need to copy? We'll copy from which stage? Okay, now we have the base depths and the production depths. So from the production depths, where we build our application, and then thank you, GitHub Copilot. Now, what we first of all want to copy is the app/node modules /node modules. We want to copy the node modules from the production dependencies. From here, what did we do here? We say, okay, we built the app. So after building the app, we copied these node modules from where we installed them, which is the second stage. We copied it to the third stage, and then we built our application. So now we don't want to be running npm install. We're just copying this over and over. So we now copy it from the production dependencies and then bring it here. So now that we copy this, we say, okay, what else do we want to copy? Copy dash from equal to production depths, and then we want to copy the app dist. So you know that after running the npm run build command, we will have built our app, and we now have the dist command in our app directory. We now have the dist directory, which contains our application, the index.js, and the rest of our application. So now that we have our dist, we just want to copy it from here and then bring it over to the third stage. Is it the third stage? First, second, third. What do we want to do with it? So after copying the node modules, and we will run another command. We will copy every other thing. So copying every other thing means we've copied the dist and we've copied the node modules. So we have other things that we need. We need the docs, we need the public folder, we need the source folder, we need the test, we need the doc. No, this is ignored. This one is ignored. We need also the TS config file, the Vitess config file, TS, and the rest. So we need every other. So we've copied every other thing. We've added it into this into our app in our app directory in now. What else do we need is to start our application. So cmd, let's say npm start. Okay, so our app is ready for deployment. Our app for production, it's ready for deployment. Okay. Okay, so now that we've successfully prepared an image, what else do we need to say? Docker build. Okay, so we want to build this image, and the Docker file is in the root of our project. Here is it. So we just say, or you can just say // like this. Or we just say use the Docker file. This one here. Error connecting to Docker daemon. Okay, Docker daemon. So here is the Docker daemon. My Docker desktop wasn't okay. Okay, sign in. Okay, Docker desktop is now running. This is great. So let me just minimize this for now. Back here and then run Docker build again. Okay, so now our application is actually building. So we're having an error here. So node book one slim, it's not sim. Slim like this. Run the build again, Docker build. Ah, is it book swarm or book one? Okay, let's try it again and see. The spelling is it book swarm or node 20 bookworm? It's one, not one. Go the other way. Docker build. Okay, so it's now installing dependencies. This should take a little bit of time. We'll wait for it to do its job. It's actually doing its job right now. And a job should be faster. Okay. We were learning about Docker. We did not talk about Docker cache. So now that we're installing this, if in case we change everything in our file and we decide to build our app again, the dependencies will not reinstall because, okay, so now we have Docker now is built. So we say, okay, Docker images. Okay, so we have this image with no repository, no tag, but with an ID built 10 seconds ago. And it has 288 MB of size. Okay. Okay, I hope we did not miss out on any stage. There's 288 MB of size. Is that not, let's go to this Docker file again and see what we missed out. Okay, from base production, copy from depths, app modules. From depths. Base production depths as production depths. Okay, in the work directory, it's like we missed out something. We change over to the app directory, and inside of this app directory, this is where we will copy all of this in the app node modules, and then we copy the package JSON, copy package JSON and the package log JSON. But this time around, we see, okay, npm install that's only production, or we can say, okay, you can say npm, say prune dash commit is equal to dev. Okay, so we want to print our production dependencies and then remove the ones that are not useful and are not needed. So this time around, instead of running npm install dash production, we're saying npm print dash commit dev because we also need to build our app. Okay, so after running that, we say, okay, from base, this is another actually before the build. Oh, okay, because we need to build from base as build. Okay, we say from base. This is from base build like this from base as build. This is where we build our application. Okay, so this from base as build. Because now we'll copy the app node modules to this is not even necessary. App frame, app run build, frame, and then okay. Let's just build our app here since okay, but later on, the reason why I'm doing this is because later on we will need to copy Prisma and then other run MPX Prisma generate. So let's just do it now in order to when next we say okay, copy that's from equal to depth. Then we say okay, app node modules. We want to copy the node modules. So after copying the node modules, what do you want to do? We want to add every other thing and then build the application. So after pruning, after we run npm prune -commit dev, and then we have a clean node modules in our app. So in the next stage, we just copy the node modules, bring it over here, and then build our application. Okay, so let's run this once more. Docker build. Okay, so now we're having an error thing from production. Where is this? From production depths. No, this is not. Where did we build our app here? As production depths print. Okay, from base as build. Okay, from build equal to build. And then also here is also from, okay, let's say from production depths. We want to copy the node modules, but then we want to copy this one from the build. This is where actually where we built our app. We run npm run build here in the build stage. So this we want to copy our this from the build stage, add every other thing, and then start our application. So let's run this npm docker build. Okay, so now we build so docker images. So the latest image is 7 AB 5 seconds ago. So we say docker run. Okay, this is sweet. Autocomplete. We have 8080 in our app, and then we want to forward it to our local machine on the port 8080. Then we paste the ID like this. Woo! Our application is running. As you can see, node this index.js and then server running on port 8080. So if you go to Postman, okay, this is not it. Open this one. Go to local host port 8080. Is it notes? Oh, let's try notes and see. Maybe we get a better response. I don't know if it's not or not. Signed. Great. So we don't have any notes. Success. Okay, if you want to create a note, how do we do it? I've forgotten. Okay, let's say it's a post request. I want to create a note. Let's copy this and then bring it over here. I'm not authenticated. Okay, let's leave that for now. I don't want to go over authenticating and then trying to create notes. But our application is working. As you can see, success, true message, success, and then data. We don't have any notes. So our app is working. Woo! It's great. And then we have, okay, shutting down server, disconnected from DB, server has successfully terminated. Great. What next? It is time to deploy our app to fly. Now we now have a Docker file and want to deploy our app to fly. See, we say fly launch, and then you see dash dash no deploy. If we have a volume, but now that we don't have any volume, let's just run fly launch dash dash no deploy. We want a fly to launch our app, but not automatically deploy it for us. We want to change some things. But basically, okay, let's run this one like this. Then let's see what fly is got for us. Detected a Node.js app, creating app, wait. So do you want this to tweak this? Yes, we want to tweak it. The organization is my own organization, my personal organization, Christopher Esesu. The name is 7KC Notes. So it's grabbing the name from the package JSON. Sweet. And then it will deploy to this region, Amsterdam, Netherlands. And then the app machine, it will be a shared CPU of 1x, 1 gig RAM. Most apps need about 1 gig of RAM. Great. We don't need progress, we don't need Redis, and we are not setting Sentry in our app. So let's tweak this. Say yes, and then the dashboard will open for you to tweak the settings. So here we'll come over. Do you want to change the region to another region? We don't want to change any region. We just want to come over here and then remove this and then send to Casey Notes. It's my personal organization. I don't have any other organization. The port here, I want to make this port 8080. Great. So what else do we need? Sentry, no. So confirm settings. Okay, so launch settings confirmed. Feel free to close this tab. Close this tab and then we come over to our here. Okay. Now if you need custom package installed or have problems with your deployment build, you may need to edit a Docker file for app specific changes. If you need help, please post this on the community. Fly.io also have a community. So let's visit the community. Open this community. We want to see the Fly.io community. Okay, so in the community, if you have any problems or issues, you can come over to the community and then you log in or you sign up and then you post. There are some questions here. Health check not responding. And then you see, okay, this health check is not responding. And then you see someone will answer this question. I don't think there are any answers to this because this young man is doing this all wrong. Is it wrong? It may be wrong because I don't know what is this. Okay. So if you come over here, okay, so now if you look at your project, some things have changed. Now take a look at this, a file here named fly.toml. So this is a fly, and if you look at this file, you will see that we have app, Casey Notes. The primary region is Amsterdam, and then auto stop machines. Oh, okay. True is no one. Okay. Type true is not good. Where the automatically stop or suspend and presence machine. Okay. I don't know why I'm getting an error here. And then we have force HTTPS true because we want our app to run in secured mode. So the build, don't worry about it. There are many configs that we can add to this. For now, this is how to locate our app. We have the app Casey Notes. And if we go over to my fly dashboard, slide dashboard personal. Yes, Toby, because that is the engine that is running it for you. So we have our app here, Casey Notes. Now, if you click on Casey Notes, you see that this app is actually empty. And then after deploying this app, this is where you can access it. HTTPS caseynotes.fly.dev. Okay. Now that we have our app, but we've not deployed it yet. So now that we made some changes, we can just come over here and then see, okay, fly deploy. Okay, after this, I'll talk about some things. As you can see, configuration is valid. Let's expand this. Building image. It's using this fly toml file to build our image. And Fly has a private registry that if you deploy an app to their platform, they will use that private registry to build and host your image. Okay, now they've launched a remote builder. Now, if you look at this remote builder, it is a beast of a machine. It has a capacity of, let's look at the machines here. This app has some machines. Okay, right now, we've not seen any machines pending. We've seen some, the app could be in the process of deploying, or the app could be created but not yet deployed. That's great. Let's come over to the overview. Okay, it's still deploying. If you come over to the configurations, we don't have any configurations because we've not deployed our app. Okay. Let's wait for our app to deploy. Great. So our look at the push refers to the repository registry.fly.io/kcnote. As you can see, this is not a Docker hub. This is not docker.hub. This is a private registry to fly.io, registry.fly.io/kcnote. That is where our image will be hosted. And every time we try to rebuild, that is where our image will be pulled from. It will be pushed to the end, and the latest changes will be built and deployed on our app actually. Okay, so what's happening? Created 2 app machines, no machine in group app, launching a new machine. Woo! Our app now is up and okay, this app is not listening on the expected address and will not be reachable by fly proxy. You can fix this by configuring your app to listen on the following addresses. So we're now configuring it to listen to 8080, but then it's required to listen to, okay, now let's come over here and then do something like fly logs. Now look, server is running on, okay, since our app started deploying, continue registry, these logs are coming from fly. Okay, instance refuse connection. Is your app listening to port 3000? Okay, now if you want to look at these logs, come over here. Live logs. If you click on the live logs, dashboard will open. And all the logs that we are seeing on our terminal are here. And our app is not working. If you visit, now we have 2 apps in this machine. We have the first machine and the second machine. So we have 2 applications. So if a user visits, we have too many users on the first machine, the app will redirect them to the second machine. But if you have a database that is a SQLite database, how do we replicate? That will come later. Okay, so right now that our app is not working, let's go back to, now if you try to access, let's go to overview, and then click on, okay, so now we have our pending sync. The 2 machines are not synced because our app is not really working. The IP addresses, we have the IP6, IPv6, and then the V4, the shared V4. So if you click on this, our app is supposed to work with our index page popped up, but it is not. And then as now the app is loading, you see some logs. As you can see, look at the logs here. And then the logs keep coming up, telling you the reason why your app is not working. Okay, so basically, I will Control C, get out of the logs, come over here in the internal port, change this internal port to 8080, and then run fly deploy. Just that, you don't need to do any other thing. Once you run fly deploy, it will build your image, push the latest one to your registry on fly registry, and then pull the latest image, build it, and then your container is ready. Okay, as you can see, when we run this on our local machine, these are the things we see. As you can see, the fly builder is building it. So there are some cached layers. Some layers here are cached. As you can see, layer already exists. So now this step will be faster. Pushed, and now it will build. And let's look at the machines once more. Now our app is not running because it is not running. It's not working. If you come over to fly machines, you can see. Great. So we have 2 machines here. And if you come back to my personal organization, every organization has a single builder. So we have app builders. If I click on the app builder, this is the app that is building the Docker image, that is building the Docker image. If I click on this app builder, the random name is Fly Builder Down Breeze. And then the size is 50 gig. 50 gig. Wow. Now that's great. Now if you click on the apps, we have I actually launched an app before, Casey Notes, but I've not deployed it. Okay, why is it taking time to navigate? Okay, so right now we have two apps here. One is the Casey Notes, which is active, deployed 21 seconds ago. This one is 1 month ago, and it's actually 3 gig, but it has some machines in it. And if you go to Casey Notes, you can see that it's pending sync. If you want to scale your app, you don't need to go ahead doing any, like scaling means you have a lot of users and you want to actually make your app, you want to make plenty instances of your app that many more users can visit it. You can just fly scale count 2. That means it will create 2 more instances of your app. Now, if you come over here, we have 2 instances and they've all deployed, we have success. And we're updating existing machine in case you know with rolling strategy. Rolling strategy here means you have 2 instances running, so it will take down 1 instance. It will not take down the 2 instances at once. It will take down 1 instance. Yes, to be our app is live. That is fly. So it will not take down the 2 instances at once. It will take down 1 instance at first. So update that instance. So if that instance fails, it will not continue to the second one. Your users will also will still be able to access the second instance and your app will be working. But the first instance will be down because it tried updating the first one and you have errors. So now, as Toby earlier said, let's check if our app is live. Wait, where am I? Let's just hop over to the dashboard and click. Basically, if then our app is live. Now, if you come over to the live logs, you see waiting for logs, and then my server running on port 8080, blah, 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 and all of that. So the app, if you come over here and they want to see the logs on the terminal, say fly logs. And here are all the logs. Great. So now we've deployed our application and it is running. Isn't this sweet? This is sweet. Ooh. Okay, so now it's time to, okay, now if we come to Postman and then say, okay, HTTPS. Toby, we don't really need AWS. We don't need AWS. It depends on your use case. If you come over here and say HTTPS, and then we say, what is this thing again? Forgetting the easy, should be fast now. The case note plus fly.dev slash case note plus fly.dev. Then we go, if you go over here, the notes, we have an empty. If you come over to the index, it will bring back an HTML file. Woo, HTML. Then preview. The preview here is, even in Postman, we can preview our homepage and we have our HTML file. Case notes. Okay, that's great. Look at the HTML file. Wonderful. So if you go to our notes, nothing there. Then if you open your logs, you can see our app is running actually. Great. So now we are not using Prisma in this application, and I used it to only show you how we can deploy this. And if you want to go multi-region or multi-region, you have to run some manual setup by yourself. If you want to go multi-region, like you want to deploy one in Africa, you want to deploy one in North America, you want to deploy one in Europe, and you want to deploy another one somewhere, so that, okay, that simply means deploying it on edge so that it will be close to its users. So why it will close to its users depends like that. That is where fly CTL, sorry, and light FS comes in, and then Prisma and the rest also comes in. Okay, so now we've deployed our app and it is live. This is sweet. So you can even scale your app, fly scale counts for that region. And then the region, you specify another region. So you want to create 4 instances of your app in this region. So your app is running in one region. You can scale and run your app in new regions with just one command. Fly is sweet. Oh, this is fly. Now, if you open your secrets, you have no secrets. So basically, you can add secrets. What do we need? I think our app here has no secret that we need. Starting cleanup. Okay, our app is because we're on the free plan, pay as you use, our app may shut down and then come back up. So what do we need? Okay, we have a secret. If you try to sign in, it will not work. Okay, you can, if you want to, let's just stop this. Now, you can come over here. Let's grab this quickly and let me show you something amazing. You can come over here. If you don't want to access your flight dashboard, you can come over here and say new secret. Paste this in. You get an error. Do away with this one. Do away with this one. Paste here. Paste here. And then set secret. So this secret is not effective. If you hover it, the secret is staged but not deployed. Run flight deploy from your terminal. So before that secret will work, you must come and say fly deploy. So let's wait for fly to finish deploying. Okay, I guess fly should be done deploying in just monitoring. Okay, updating existing machines. Okay, successful. Now fly logs. Let's see sharply what's happening. Without going to the dashboard, now configuring Firecracker. Now it's pulling this image, prepared image, successful pulling container image. The image that our machine built and pushed to the registry is actually pulling it. Now it's configuring the Firecracker. Okay, so if you come over here to overview, click on this, come over here, because basically our app stopped. So what our app stopped because we're on the basic plan. Now, if you click on the app, look at what happened. Fly API proxy Docker endpoint.sh npm starts as root. Now it's starting. So SSH listening address, this and that. Machine started in 771 milliseconds. Can you imagine how fast? Not up to a minute, in 771 milliseconds. Like not up to a second. So machine started in the second one. Okay, this is the first machine. Okay, the first machine started in 7.74.5628 milliseconds. And then node index.js, migrations applied, connected to DB, server running on port 8080. And now we have a disadvantage. The disadvantage here is any changes you make to this app, if you log in or you sign up your account and then you create some nodes, on every deployment, the database will be reset. The database will reset and all your changes will be lost. Okay, so what I redeployed for is the secret. If you come over to this secret, and then you see that yellow dot has turned to green. Okay, now if you hover over it, has been deployed and there's no yellow dot anymore. Okay, so now you can edit this secret, but then it is digested. You cannot see it. You can never ever see the secret. It's already digested, and then maybe this is in a hexadecimal form or whatsoever. But you can basically delete this secret. It will ask you secret for you to trigger a deployment from the terminal, blah blah blah. And then you delete this secret. This is the secret name. So now that we've deleted the secret, you can come over here and then say stop the logs, clear the terminal, and they say fly secret, fly secret, set. And then we can come in here and then say secret is equal to test secret like this. You can basically do something like this and hit enter. We are setting the secret from our terminal instead of going to the dashboard to set the secret. And then after setting the secret, it's updating our app with the rolling strategy. Let's refresh this. Less than a minute ago. Okay, basically, you may want me to delete this and then do it again. Okay, the first app is up and running, the second one is up and running. Great. Now, let's come back here. Let me delete this thing. Delete it. Once a secret is deleted, it cannot be undone. Are you sure you want to continue? Continue. Delete it. Okay, we don't have any more secrets. So if you come over here and then run fly secret set, this secret, wow, hit enter. And then we wait for the secret to be set. Updating existing machines in case we rolling strategies. So Fly has different strategies. But let's go over to Fly docs and then search strategies. Strategies. Load balancing strategies. Okay, this is the load, soft limit, hard limit. We'll talk about that later. This can be set in its terminal file. This is not what I want. Okay, but before that, let's go back and check our secrets. So let's refresh. Okay, so now we have our secret set with running this on the command line. So basically everything that you can do here in your dashboard, you can do it on your terminal. Here we have volumes, but we don't, let's look at the volumes. Okay, we don't have any volumes. So, okay, for that, let me just come over here, fly dash out dash sign up. And then the body here, this is a post request, post. And in the body, raw JC. So is it username, right? Username of Crystal and password. So I think this sign up. Let's try and see. Great. We have our token. So we've signed up and we want to create a note. So how do we create a note? Okay. How do we create a note? Don't worry, we'll fix that up. We will do it now, but this is just the basics. Now that I want to create a note, I have a token. So moving to the body, we have the raw. So in note, let's check the note. I'm forgetting actually controllers, notes. In note, we have title, content, and a user ID. We don't need to worry about the user ID. We just need to worry about the title and the content. So here we have title of fly notes, then content, how to use fly, and then we send this. We may get a photo. Nope. Come over here, copy this, bring it here, and then do away with the odd sign up and then make it a note. Send this once more. Unauthorized. So come back here, copy this token, go over to fly, and in the authorization, go to bearer token, do away with this, paste this one, and then send your request. Back. Now we've created this node. Now if you can come over, if you go over to this, please, copy this, come over here, paste it, and then we want to get all the nodes, hit this, then we have the node, we have one node inside of it, and the user ID is of 1. Okay, so now let me come back here and run fly. Let me just change something. All fields required, and then add a full stop here. Error creating node and add another one here. And then run fly deploy. We've made changes to our app, fly deploy. Okay, our app is being deployed. This layer, all these layers are cached and they don't have to be rebuilt from scratch. There's the power of caching in Docker. You can check that out. Okay, this is okay. It has pushed this to the Docker registry. The image size is 211 MB. And then it's updating our instances, our app instances using the rolling strategy. Let's wait for it to finish updating. Okay, that's finished updating. And if you notice, it will first of all check if the first app is up and running. Once the first instance is up and running, it will update the second one also with the new updates. Oh my God, Fly is sweet. Now come here, send this request, and you've got no notes. So our database have that's resetted. So now we want to use volumes. We don't have any volumes here. You can check about volumes, Docker volumes. Go to volumes. So volumes are the preferred mechanism for persisting data generated by and used by Docker containers, while bind mounts are dependent on the directory structure and operating system of the host machine. Volumes are completely managed by Docker. Volumes have several advantages and bad. So you can go ahead, okay, so this is the container, this is the volume, temp EF mount, the memory, and this is the file system. So this is the host. So this once you create a volume on subsequent deploys, the volumes will be persisted. Your data will not be lost. Okay, so now let's come to the docs, and here, okay, volumes. Okay, so in the volumes here, use or create a volume API. This is not what I want. Okay, fly volumes. Okay, creating a volume overview. And then we'll go over to create and manage volumes. Okay, so you come over here and say fly volume create. Okay, so we need to create 2 volumes. So after creating the volumes, you come over to your fly terminal and add, okay. You can also destroy a volume. Acting started. Okay, I just want to show you this. Public a machine, no. Volumes overview. Volume attachment. Okay, let's just come over here and say fly volumes. There's this thing for fly volume docs. Okay, fly volume docs. volume state, fly volume commands to create a volume. I think as you see a volumes here, available commands, destroy, extend, create. But there's something also I want to show you. Okay, so we'll come over here and then see, okay, we want to create a volume. A volume is like, it's a Docker volume that will persist our data. So our database will actually be on that volume. So what we do here, we say fly volumes, or you can say fly vol or fly vol create data. So the data is where you want your, okay, we say create data. Data is the directory where you want your database to be on. So you can come over here and then you can say dash dash app. I have more than an app on my list. So the app I want to use is the KC note. KC note. And then you can see dash dash size. You can see the size is 1 gig or 2 gig. Let's make it the size of 1 gig. And then you can see dash dash count. We have 2 instances. So our volumes, we must have two volumes, each associated with an instance. We say 2, and then you hit enter. Okay, it is asking you, okay, let's say Amsterdam, because that is where our instances are hosted. Let's hit enter. Create the volumes in the Amsterdam region. So it has created it. This is the volume ID. App is KC notes, 1 gig, and all of this. We have 2 volumes. Now, if you come over to fly volumes, if you refresh here, you will notice that you have 2 volumes. Great. Each is 1 gig and it has 0 MB. 0 MB because we've not used our volumes. So if you come over here in our fly terminal, type fly terminal, fly launch configurations. Then we see fly launch, fly terminal, the app. This is the app and the region, and then the queue signal, the queue timeout. We'll talk about those ones later. The swap size, that one will be later. Then we have the build. The builder here. If you want to use an image from another registry, and then the build pattern, all of that. These are specific to Docker. The Docker image, you can come over here and then say, okay, if I fly terminal, we have the build. Then you can see, okay, you can see, that's not what I want. The build, you can see, what do we have here? Okay, so the Docker file is this Docker file or the other. We can basically see Docker file, and then you see it is the one in our current directory like this. But since you did not specify it, Fly will automatically use the one in your base in the home directory, which is this one here. Okay, so then we don't need to specify that one. So moving on, we have the build, the ignore. If your .ignore file is not in the root project, in the root directory of a project, you have to specify the part where it is located. So, but our own is right here, so we don't need to do all of that. So going on, we have build ads and all of that. We have deploy and deploy strategy. Okay, now we have, look at the things I wanted to talk about. Picking a deploy strategy. We have the deploy strategy of blue, green, and we have rolling, we have immediate, we have canary, we have blue, green. So the default strategy for apps with or without volumes, one by one. This can be, it will be updated one by one. Each running machine is taken down and then replaced by a new release machine, as I earlier explained. Then we have immediate, replace all machines with new releases immediately without waiting for health checks to pass. That is very, very bad. So this is useful in emergency situations where you are confident about releases health and can't wait for the health checks. That's if your app is down, you want users to get access to because your app is down completely. You replace all the instances of the app at once. Then we have Canary. Boot a single new machine with a new release, verifies its health, and then proceeds with the rolling strategy. Oops, that's great. Then we have Blue-Green. For every running machine, a new one is booted alongside it in the same region. Once all the new machines passes health checks, traffics get migrated to the new machines and the old machines are destroyed. So this one, if you have every machine, every new machine will be created alongside the old one. So the new update will come would be the new machines will contain the new updates. So they will try to run them. So once all the health checks pass, the old machines will be taken down and then replaced with the new ones that have been created. That is the blue-green strategy. That's great. So, but what I'm looking for, thank God you've seen that one, explained it. I'm looking for data. Okay, let's say data here. Nope. Data. Let's say fly tomorrow data. Fly tomorrow data. Okay, let's just check out remix. This remix fly tomorrow. Okay, we have mount. Great. This is what I'm looking for, the mount. So in the mount, because this is where your data is actually, the directory where your data is. So the name of the data section is data and the directory is also data. So let's just copy this one, bring it over here, and then paste it. Okay, so this time around, we've created this one, fly deploy. So we have mounts, we have the data directory created, we have our volumes, one for each app, and then our app is now building, pushing the latest image to the Docker registry, using the image and pushing it to the Docker registry. So our app platform can be able to pull it and then build our container, then deploy using the rolling strategy. Okay. This should be faster. Okay, pushing image done. So now it's time to pull. Watch your deployment on the, okay, you can actually click this, open it, and then watch our deployment on the flight dashboard. Okay, on initializing volume data, initializing, encrypting the pooling container. Okay, opening encryption, configuring, setting up firecracker. Okay, let's come over here once more, make a request. Come back to the dashboard and see configuring firecracker connected to DB server running on port 8080 configuration is reachable in 1.137 seconds. Okay, the first one here is available. Oops, 1 minute ago. Let's look at the volumes. Now we have 70 MB. The reason why we're having 70 MB here is because I've visited the first machine and then my migrations have applied. So I now have basic tables in my database and I have 70 MB. So now let's come over here. Where did I log in? Do I need a new token? Basically. Oh, yes, I need a new one because everything has been scrambled. Sign up. This is a new token. Grab this new token. Bring it over to fly and then remove this one, paste it, and then create a new note. Okay, we've created this note. Come over here, refresh this. Okay, so now we have data in our volume. So if you come over to this place and then try to get this, okay, now we have this. So let's come over here and then do fly deploy. Okay, let's change something before doing that so that we let's remove this one here and then remove the one we changed earlier, save the file and then deploy so that our app will make some changes. So our remote builder here is building our our Docker image and then pushing it to the Docker registry, the fly private registry. So this will be faster. Okay, it is pushed already. Okay, time to pull. Let's go over and monitor our deployment. Can refresh this. Right, come over here to have checking that this app is up and running. Let's wait for it to be up and running. Great, it is now up and running. Come over here. Let's make the request once more. Oops. Okay. So in our app, if you come over to the database index.ts, in here, we are referencing our database. Where is it? File name is path.join directory name, DB name. And what is the DB name? Okay. We can basically say, okay, const DB name is equal to process env database URL like this. Then you can come over here. Okay, DB name, string undefined. Then you can say, okay, let's make it. Okay, we are sure that it exists. So this is the path to our database because earlier we were only referencing it here. So we can come to our environmental variable here and then set the name of the env, the database. Since it is here, we can say, okay, database URL is equal to file, okay, file. In here, we will go into the database /database, the folder of database, and then /SQLite SQLite like this. Okay, let's run npm run dev. Okay, we're having an error here saying error applying migration statement. The path argument must be of type string received undefined. But in here, this is where the error is coming from. Path got die name. No, this shouldn't be part of join. Okay, because let's not do that. Let's say okay, const db directory is equal to path.join and process.cwd. And where is it located? In the database, let's say database, like this. And then or you can even say database and then you can specify DB name like this. And then come over here and do all this path.join and then say DB directory like this. Okay. Error invalid argument type valid because the path argument will be of type string. Okay. So what's happening? npm run there. Path argument must be of. This is not a string, it's a string. Process env database URL. Database URL. Let's check our env file. Have database URL is equal to file. Okay, this is how to specify. Okay, let's just remove this one. This is an SQLite DB. Can run there. Why am I getting these errors? Okay, in the index TS file, we have our env set. If env is equal to load env. Okay, so we are loading env before we're applying migrations. Load env. Okay. Okay, basically, let's just move over to, let's forget about that. Come over to Docker. And here we'll say, okay, from base, and then we'll say env database URL, URL is equal to, no, this is equal to data, data, slash data, slash, let's quickly check it here. This slash data. Okay, let's check where we referenced. Here you have the mount, and then we have the data. It should be slash data, where is flight timer of the mount. The source is data, and the destination is data slash. Okay, so it should be in the data, and then okay, we'll do something. Since it's an SQLite DB, we say okay, file is inside the file SQLite DB dot forward slash data slash SQLite dot DB, like this. Database URL. Great. So now in our env file, it will, this database URL will return the env, and then we'll pass it to use the Docker file, and our app will be able to locate the database URL. So we reference this database URL in our app, which is a DB name process.env.database URL, because DB is equal to path.db. Great. Now let's go back to index.ts. Remove this. Or we can basically leave it like this. And let's see what you got. Okay. Clear the terminal and fly deploy. We are out of time, and after this one, if you don't get it right, you come back in our next class. And then I just want to show you how to do it manually without using Prisma. Because in our mount, we see the directory where our data is here, and then we want to actually mount our SQLite database inside of this directory. So it's building and it's already pushing. Okay, so right now it's deploying. Let's watch the deployment. Set up volume in data, encrypt volume, firecracker, and all of that. Okay. Let's see our app. The app is starting. Send a request. Okay, we may have an error. First of all, view the live logs because our app is not responding. Okay, so now we have SQLite can't open. Okay, error applying migrations, unable to open database file. Machine did not have a restart policy default. Okay, SQLite instance refuse opening on mounting dev data. Okay, so the reason why is because we don't have the database in that directory. So we'll quickly come over here in our Docker file. I will not build it. After this, we'll end the class. But we'll come over here. This is where our database is. So from this base, we'll quickly in our work directory of slash data. We'll cd into the data and then we'll say, okay, run touch SQLite DB. That's all we need. Okay, fly deploy. Remove work directory of app. Let's move out. Okay, so it's building. So we specified the path to where the database is, but basically we did not create the database. So that is the reason why we are getting all these errors. Okay, where is it? Error applying migrations, unable to open database file. That is the reason, and it's trying and trying and trying and trying over and over again. Okay, so now we'll come back here to create the app. But since we're running all of this, okay, let's run fly deploy once more. Refresh this, reload, Docker entry point, an error occur, cannot open database. Okay. On mounting dev, you see doing, of switch out to come over here, env database drive file data slash SQLite DB, env, okay. Or we can basically move this, grab this, and then take it out of here, move it into the, after pruning, we can just run this inside the app directory like this. You can check, or you can make this another step on its own. You can say, okay, from base as the from base, since we are not reusing it, we can just paste it in here. Then we can run this. Then proceed to the next step. Come over here and then remove this one. Oops, from base. From base working directory, touch SQLite DB. Okay, fly deploy. Okay, even after this, we still have any errors, then we'll leave it for the next class. Then we can see how we can tackle that. But with Prisma, everything is straightforward, running migrations before. Okay, deploying. Okay, it's taking time, taking time. Okay, so waiting for, okay, this app started, it all started, and refresh this. Let's look at the live logs, and we're still getting this error applying migrations, unable to open database. Okay, so we are just creating SQLite DB, and we forgot to actually install it. It just came to my mind, and in the Docker file, we will install SQLite 3, and then we will install OpenSSL. So in here, you see, okay, from base as depths, install dependencies, just come over here, basically here, or yes, here you can see run apt. This is where we install the dependencies, but we'll do that in our next slide. We'll need to install SQLite 3 and OpenSSL, but actually forgot. So we come to the end of today's class, and we've learned a lot with Fly, and we tried learning how to persist data, but then we got it all wrong because we did not install SQLite, and then we did not also install OpenSSL. So basically, we will do that in our next class.